Hello gamers from around the world, this is Boxenberger, the video game enthusiast from Germany, and I would like to welcome you to this week's episode of the World of Gaming. And today it's actually an exciting week for gaming. Not a lot of news happened, but the news we got are fantastic. GDC is going on. So we have a lot to talk here. I want to welcome everyone who listens live here today. I want to welcome everyone who listens after the fact, either on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening. A big welcome. And Dutch, my man, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. Been very busy lately, so not too much gaming, but yeah, very busy. Got a whole group of new starters at work, so I'm just busy training them up and getting them ready for the grind.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I've been pretty busy with work myself lately. That's why we had to skip last week's podcast. I was just too busy.
Yeah, I was glad you said that, to be fair, because I was exactly the same.
I don't know, I worked like well above 60 hours last week, and I was just nowhere near in the headspace to do a podcast, but I am this week, and I'm looking forward to today's show. And yeah, Dutch, before we start to get into the news, of course, we need to talk about the most important thing in gaming, and that are the games that we are playing. So what kept you busy lately? And guys in the chat, let us know as well.
Yeah, for me, it is. I've been playing another new Pokemon game. Pokemon Pokopia.
What's that?
That is Minecraft crossed with Stardew Valley, crossed with something. Your kids would love it. So essentially, you go in and you find, again, unfortunately, Switch 2 only. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would be a reason to upgrade finally?
Yeah, possibly, yeah. Well, obviously, you've got the big new one coming out next year, and then you've got Pokopia, which is out now. But yeah, it is essentially, like I say, Minecraft crossed with Pokemon, but you don't have any of the battling. It's more, you find the Pokemon, you build like where they live, and they do give you tasks and things to go and, I really want like some toys to play with, so you go and find some toys for them and go and build them a house and make a nice area for everybody to live and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more of a Minecraft-esque Pokemon game. So kids that love Minecraft will absolutely love a Pokemon version of Minecraft. It's the same concept. You mine things, you break things apart, you get materials, you build things. But you get tasks by Pokemon to do things like in order to unlock this Pokemon, you have to build this kind of habitat. And if you get that, then they'll appear. So it's like going and finding things. You can go and discover new ones to add to the family.
Okay.
So yeah, it's quite cool. It can be relative. If anyone's played Minecraft, it can be relatively addictive in that sense.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that, and then of course the very old school Pokemon, Fire Red, or the newest version of Red, the original game, which released super cheap at the beginning of the month, like 16, 17 quid or something, which is out on both Switches. But that is old school.
Very old school.
Yeah. I think, other than that, I'm sure I played something on Xbox as well at some point, but I can't quite remember what it was. I did also download something else on PC the other day. What was it? Planet of Lana 2, but I haven't played it yet. I've got it installed.
I need to play that too. I've downloaded it, but I didn't start it yet. Yeah. Sweet, good stuff here. So, yeah, last week I didn't play that much, but over the weekend I played quite a bit of Resident Evil Requiem, and I just finished it the other day. And Requiem is absolutely fantastic, Dutch. I know recency bias and so on, but this could very well be the best Resident Evil to date. 4 was my favorite so far.
Same.
and this could just top that, honestly. I don't want to really go there yet because, again, recency bias, but
Yeah.
it was from start to finish a fantastic game.
You finished it already?
Yeah, I finished yesterday or
How long
today.
is it?
Well, the playthrough took me about 12, 13 hours, something like that.
Right.
On normal difficulty.
Right.
But yeah, it is absolutely fantastic, man. From start to finish, the story is great. It's a really good story. A bit easier to follow than the storyline in 7 and 8.
Yeah.
And they had these two characters, the Leon, obviously, and the girl.
Claire?
No, not Claire.
Jill?
I'm blanking on it. Something with an A. God damn it.
Is that a new girl? Is the girl new?
The girl is new. Yeah.
Oh, that's why I don't know the name. Then I was going to say,
yeah. It's a new girl.
Right.
Damn it! Why am I blanking on this? Damn it! Grace. It was exactly Grace.
Right.
Sorry, not with an A. It has an A in it. Grace, and like the Grace parts of the of the gameplay are more stealthier, more horror elements in it. Right at the beginning, the game asks you which character do you want to play in third person and first person mode.
Yeah.
They recommend to play Grace in first person, Leon in third person. I didn't do that. I played both in third person. And Grace, again, has a lot of more horror elements, the jump scares and so on. And Leon is more action-oriented gameplay. Obviously still with horror elements, but not as much. And it is, and you go back and forth in between the two. And it is just a fantastic mix, honestly. They nailed absolutely everything from graphics. It's a drop dead gorgeous game, right? Especially the lighting, which is in a dark horror game, right? Really important. The audio is fantastic. They have the like the best elements from all the previous Resident Evils in there, from your super jump scare moments to like you getting chased by someone and you just panically have to escape somewhere, to like just fighting a horde of zombies. Like it's all in there and it's so well mixed. It plays so good. It rewards you a lot to explore a little bit the aerials, because otherwise you will run out of ammunition. Yeah, it has this typical Resident Evil thing. Try to save as many bullets as you can. And it is just, from start to finish, a really fantastic game. And I had an absolute blast with it. Couldn't recommend it more. And it could very well end up being my favorite Resident Evil to date. And I've played them all. It's just that good. Deserves all the success it has. It's just a very well done single player game. 12 plus minus hours, right? Not too short, not too long. You go back to some places.
Raccoon City.
Raccoon City,
the
for instance.
Police department.
Yes. And you have even Leon has some. I'm not spoiling anything, but you see some flashbacks, right, to stuff that happened in the first games, and it is just that good. It leaves you with a very tough choice at the end. I'm not spoiling it, but there are two endings to it. A good one and a bad one. And I went back. Luckily, you don't have to worry about it, because if you take the bad ending, the game asks you after the bad ending, do you want to go to that point in the story where you had to make that decision and try the other ending? So you could experience both. It is just, again, everything about it was just absolutely awesome. I had an absolute blast with it. So, yeah, that was my main game over the last week. But other than that, I tried High on Life 2 again, and it still didn't click with me.
No.
I'm giving up on the game now. It's just not for me. I enjoyed the first one, but I don't know what it is. It just doesn't feel good. How you shoot, how you move. It's maybe it's just me, but in the first one, I thought the humor was good. This time, I don't feel it. So, yeah,
I think that's because the original lead creator is no longer involved in it.
Could be.
Obviously, due to specific circumstances that
could be. So, but I gave that a fair shot again, and some games are just not for everyone, right? And that's one of those games. So then I never realized that Towerborn actually released.
Full release, yeah.
Full release, and it's now a single-player game, or you can still play co-op, but it has no live service elements anymore. You can just play it from start to finish. So I've downloaded it on my ROG Xbox X and started that. That's actually also fun.
Yeah, it is really fun. Even the kids will be able to play that.
Yeah. But I haven't played too much of that. Maybe 2 hours or so.
I haven't played it since it officially released, of course. I played a lot of it when it was still...
They changed a lot. It is... I remember you and I both played it at Gamescom, and then when what was that, an alpha or beta or something?
I played it when it was doing its whole full-on preview thing, and to be fair, I was enjoying it, but I was like, I'm not going to play any more of it because I'm waiting for it to have
the full release and
have the achievements and have like actual set targets and things to go for. Because with a game like that, when you're just grinding through the levels and you're building your character up and stuff like that, I do like to go for. I know you don't like achievement hunting, but it makes a bit more sense in a game like that.
Yeah, I can understand that. But
instead of investing loads of hours into a game where it doesn't really have a definitive end, wait for a full release when there is a kind of an ending or strategy to it.
Yeah. And they actually changed quite a bit in the gameplay elements to make it more like a single-player experience or co-op at max, and not this full online experience. So they changed quite a lot. But it is, I'm enjoying myself. I'm going to continue playing that. So yeah, that is what kept me busy lately. And then, of course, Dutch, I'm absolutely waiting for next week. Cannot wait. Crimson Desert is going to come out next week.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to that. They've shared, of course, like things like the launch trailer by now. Earlier today, Digital Foundry posted their first impression of the PS5 Pro version. Apparently runs really well on that thing.
I've heard, like you say, I've watched ACG's preview of it, and I've sent that to yourself.
Yeah, I've watched that too.
Looking forward to it, and I've nothing but good news from it. Obviously, it's very what's the word?
Big.
Yeah, it is very big. It's ambitious. That's what the word.
Ambitious.
It's an ambitious task, an ambitious kind of game
Yes.
to create because it's a big game with a lot of things to do in it.
It's honestly a little
but-
bit my only worry about it, that it tries to do too much, because
Everything.
it feels like they are trying to put like everything in there. And I'm not just talking about stuff like, you can chop wood and craft stuff, go smithing and go fishing and so on. But like, you can fly dragons, you have robots in that game, you have like it tries to do so much, and I hope that it actually delivers and stays fun, right?
Yeah.
The world map sounds intimidating big, but I'm super excited for it. They've released the official specs for it, and honestly, it is absolutely insane that a game that looks like that can run on an RTX 1060. That's like a 12-year-old card that was cheap and not really that good when it came out.
This has always been my argument about when certain people are saying, "Oh, this game can't run on this console," or "This game can't run on this." I'm like, no, stop it. But it's when we've still got games releasing for cards that are almost as old as me. It's ridiculous. Like, don't have that daft rhetoric.
Yeah.
And when developers complain about cross generations and things like that, I'm like, you've been doing it for years, but just on PC, you just keep doing it. It's scalability.
It's scalability, and even for the super high end 4K 60 experience on ultra settings, right? You're only going to need a 5070 Ti, and that's really not that super high end.
It's a mid-grade 50 card.
Yeah.
It's not even a mid-grade, because that would be the 5080. It's like the kind of better than base.
Yeah, definitely. And on consoles, it will have like 3 modes. A performance mode with full racing, ray tracing on. The performance mode has low ray tracing, but still ray tracing on. It has a balanced mode, right? That runs at 40 FPS. It's probably my personal choice, and the quality mode that runs at 30, but with high ray tracing settings and everything. Usually I pick, if some games had that in the past, right? The balanced mode. I love that. The 40 FPS do quite a lot when it comes to how a game feels over 30. But it's not like 60 FPS where usually the resolution goes down so much that the image just looks blurry on a good 4K screen, right? So 40 FPS is usually the thing I'm going for, and it will have that. I love that. They've also announced dedicated ROG Xbox LEX specs on the Xbox LEX. It has dedicated for that particular device as well a performance, balance, and quality mode. Using FSR3 super resolution to upscale then, and it's like, that's also fantastic. I've not seen any game do that before, that you have the Steam Deck certified thing, which really isn't like a pre-setting though, right? It just says, okay, you can read the menus good and it runs on that thing and stuff like that. But this game is going to have like dedicated ROG Xbox LEX settings, which I love, and it obviously is play anywhere. So I'm hyped, man. I cannot wait. Even thinking about taking a day off next week.
You're going to need more than a day off to get anywhere near in that game.
Yeah.
A day off will get you through the tutorial section.
Probably. So, yeah, man, I'm massively excited for Crimson Desert. I love what they've shown so far. I love how apparently, when looking at these specs, right, well optimized it is. That they can run it on a 1060 and ultra 4K 60 settings, not even need a 5090 or something. So, yeah, Crimson Desert, man. You going to pick that up?
No, not because it's not good, but I just really don't have the time, no headspace for a game of that magnitude.
Yeah, I'm willing to give that a chance.
Yeah.
I'm ready to immerse myself in a game entirely and spend 100+ hours in it.
Yeah. Oh, you'll be spending more than that in that game. I can guarantee it.
Well, let's see. Let's see how good the story is, how good the side content is, right? I mean, that was the thing about games like The Witcher or so, that the side stuff was so good that you actually wanted to do that, all the stuff. And that's why...
It was the same with Cyberpunk, to be fair. I love the
Cyberpunk as well, yeah. But I remember, for instance, Dragon's Dogma 2, where I didn't really enjoy the side content that much. I just used some of the side quests to level up and get some of my stats up. But as soon as I was high enough on level, I tried to continue with the main story, which was great. Yeah. But the side content didn't keep me in that game. And so I finished Dragon's Dogma, can't remember, 50 hours or so. Didn't spend that much time in it, some others. So it really depends on the quality of the side stuff, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Let me shout out Sith Lord, who sends in a channel member chat saying, hello, next gen Xbox is looking amazing. Xbox in 27. Yeah, we will get into that. Man. Dutch, before we get to all the Xbox stuff, and we have a lot of Xbox stuff this week to talk about, right? Let's briefly talk about the Steam Machine. Because the Steam Machine also made some headlines this week, because over the weekend, a lot of people debated, because they were posting on their website that they are hoping to release the Steam Machine in 2026, which struck up quite the conversation, right? A little later this week, or earlier this week, they announced, it's still planned for 26. But it was originally targeted towards early 26. Then they've said, we want to ship first half of 26, right? And now it's we hope and we intend to release it in 2026. So I wanted to discuss that with you, man. The Steam Machine, I mean... Yeah, they are honest about it. They say, okay, it's because of all the RAM shortages and the delivery chain, supplier chain of some of the parts that they need to build. That's the reason, obviously. But with all the Xbox news that we just got, and we get to those in a minute, right? I was wondering that how long can Valve actually wait to release that thing? Because we know the specs, right? It is not that powerful in the sense of, will it be anywhere near the performance of what Xbox is probably going to deliver next year? And so I was wondering, Dutch, what do you think? What's going on with Valve? When should they release? Well, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I mean, obviously everything's connected to recent events. I can understand kind of they'll be monitoring the markets and things like that. They mentioned chip shortages, but there is a big thing that's going on at the moment that's affecting a lot of things being delivered, and a very large portion of the world's sulfur supply
Yeah.
is being strangled in the Strait of Hormuz, of course, with the conflict over in Iran at the moment. No ships getting through, so a large section of the world's sulfur supply is not getting through, which is, of course, used to go into creating chips and electronics, etc. So there's a massive knock-on effect on that, and of course, China, who ultimately will be producing a lot of the chips that are in these things, are not getting what they require in order to do it. The cost of chipsets went up by 15% today. So
and it
delays are going to
comes
be
on top,
inevitable.
right, of the actual RAM shortage that has been going on for 6 months now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's continuous, like you say, world affairs and geopolitical nonsense is having a knock-on effect on absolutely everything. Whether it be the chips themselves, or it be the delivery of the items, whether it be the tariffs, whether it be, God, everything to do with it is going to be pushing it and delaying it. And I think they probably would have, it definitely would have had issues anyway with the RAM shortages. But when you're talking about a mass-produced product and requiring chipsets, etc., and making sure you can get those ready, everything that's going on at the moment, there's bound to be additional delays. And I think what they're doing is saying where we hope to get everything to market within the first half. That's because you can't predict how matters are going to unfold and how things are going to unravel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the RAM shortage obviously has been going on for 6 months now, and especially a smaller company like Valve that relies a lot on second and third party companies to actually produce the machines, that cannot hire their own assembly lines and stuff, is impacted more than like some of the classic big OEMs, right? That have certain lines in place and so on. However, I'm not 100% sure if Iran immediately affected that thing.
Oh, it's not Iran, it's the Strait of Hormuz. It's like specifically the sulfur.
You know
like
what
a
I mean.
quarter of the world's sulfur comes through that area. It's going to have an impact, whether it be short or small, because of course it is going to have more. It's more the impact on cost. And of course
that part we will see later. Right, as of right now, I'm just not sure if Valve really planned that well ahead.
Well, it's not specifically that. The reason I say later is because, of course, they still plan to release it the first half.
No, they just said we hope to ship in 26 now.
Oh, right, okay. Well, that'll be part of the reason then. If it was originally meant to be first half and all this is booted off, it will be part of the reason.
Yeah, and I just wonder, we still don't know of obviously the price of the thing, and I don't know when it actually makes sense for them to bring it out, because now we know basically that the next Xbox is coming next year, right? Again, we get to that in a minute, but it is basically a low to mid spec PC for the living room that just runs your Steam library. And if they are struggling to get that thing out, you can expect they will be struggling to get a good price point for it. So my assumption is that this thing will at least cost $800 to $900, if not even up to $1,000. And if you assume release that thing more towards the end of the year, would it actually make sense, because then we are so close to getting a way more powerful device, the Xbox, next year, that not just plays your Steam library, but everything else as well. That is actually a PC, right? Or PC-like device. It's a console, I know, but you know what I mean. And I feel like if they are waiting any longer, it just will massively impact the success of that thing. I mean, on the other hand, obviously, you can argue Steam has a lot of fans, right? There are better options for handhelds out there than the Steam Deck, and people still buy the Steam Deck and love it, which is great. But it's obviously not the best device or best handheld out there. Not even for the price point, right?
No.
And so there is a certain fan base of a Steam-based or Valve-designed device. But on the other hand, I'm not sure about this whole Steam thing. But
I don't think, to be fair, I don't think it'll work anyway. And the only reason I know this is because they've attempted this before via third party and it didn't take off. I don't understand why they think they would trying it again, but doing it themselves would work any better. It's ultimately the same thing. It's just Steam own, as opposed to third parties creating the Steam machines. It's still a Steam machine. It's still the same thing. It's like it's the definition of insanity, in my opinion. It's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Understand handhelds are a little bit different because at least it has a screen attached to it and people can play their PC games. I don't even think that the Steam machine will do as well as the handheld.
I would agree there. I would absolutely agree there. The incentive for the Steam Deck, right, really is the form factor, because it offers you something a PC does not deliver to you. Still, there are fans out there, and it will sell a certain amount. But the longer they wait, the cheaper they have to make it. Because technology moves forward, right? The longer they wait, the older the specs are. They are getting closer and closer to the Xbox Project Helix, which will not just blow it away in terms of power, but also in choices, right? You're not locked down to a Steam store. And so, yeah, let's see. Who knows? Maybe they would surprise us and just announce it in May. Hey, it comes out in 2 weeks. But I feel like they are really...
I doubt it.
I doubt it. I feel like
they
are swimming in the communication from, it comes out early. Yeah, it comes out first half, to we hope it's going to be 26. And if that thing doesn't come out this year, it will get buried next year.
Yeah, of course it will.
So...
I mean, we're talking about another thing that's in a little bit outside of that, another particular console that's coming out in due course. I'll say due course because wording in recent literature suggested it wasn't as soon as we thought. But yeah, I just don't think... I'm not going to say dead on arrival. I just think it's going to be extremely niche, and I don't believe it will continue with it after the first wave. I think they'll do the Steam machine. I don't think it'll perform as well as they hoped it would, and then I think they'll just not create another.
Yeah. I mean, on top of that, they've announced what at GDC this week, what the requirements are to meet the Steam machine verified badge, right? They do have that as well for the Steam Deck. Yeah, the Steam Deck verified badge, and games have to meet certain requirements. And at GDC, Valve officially set the requirements for the Steam Machine Verified badge, and that is if a game targets a 1080p resolution. So there has already been going on a lot of speculations about that the highlighted 4K 60 FPS gameplay would heavily rely on AMD FSR super sampling and upscaling technology. And this is now basically confirming this. You only need 1080p resolution and 30 FPS gameplay to get the Steam Machine Verified badge, showing that it isn't really that powerful as people were hoping it would be, right? So, yeah, it's again a more low to mid, more towards low probably, powered PC like console. And if that thing misses 26, I'm not feeling very comfortable or I don't think it's a very promising machine then. I was surprised by the low specs that they need, that a game needs to have to get that Steam Machine Verified badge, honestly. 1080p and 30 FPS in the year 2026. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything you want to add on the Steam Machine before we get to the Xbox stuff?
No, I think it's been well covered. Thankfully, it's not a massive thing to speak about, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, Dutch. Then let's get to some Xbox talk here. Before we get to the GDC stuff, a couple of headlines Xbox made this week. Satya had a talk to the staff, and like basically everything in this day and age, when Microsoft has a town hall somewhere, right, the stuff gets leaked. And Satya spoke at an internal town hall, and they had an internal Q&A, and he had a quite interesting thing on the concerns that a lot of people have that Microsoft might be pulling out of the console business, or that they are trying to move that into an AI-like division and stuff like that. And he had to say the following. Let me read that. This comes from Windows Central. Shout out to Jess Corden. The man got his sources right. He has been saying, "We are long on gaming. We'll continue to invest and we'll always do so." Then he internally referenced to stuff like that they try to fight back against doom scrolling with active engagements, right? He repeatedly talked the console hardware up. And he also acknowledged the fan feedback and passion for Xbox. And the team apparently was really energized there. So Satya also to the staff confirming again, we are focusing on consoles, we are fully invested in gaming, and we continue to invest in gaming. So basically reconfirming this commitment. And along with that, something happened. They didn't announce it officially, but they deleted basically all the "This is an Xbox" advertisements. The articles on Xbox are down. You can't, if you click on the old links, you will not find it anymore. They quietly removed the "This is an Xbox" ad. So before we get into some of the GDC stuff, that I find that very interesting to see. Yeah, Satya comes up, talks to the staff, and then a couple of hours later, this whole "this is an Xbox" kind of advertisement seems to be silently removed by them. So, what do you think, man?
I'm glad. This is an Xbox was a failed marketing campaign that should never have been put out in the first place because it was false advertisement.
It was an advertisement that they could have done maybe in 5 to 10 years. Yeah, because I know what they tried to bring to the table with this advertisement, where they have this unified ecosystem, and basically it doesn't matter whether you play on console, on your handheld, on PC, on your phone, but when they launched that campaign, I want to say 1.5 years ago or something like that, right? They were not even close to be there, right? The Xbox console is still a very different experience than what you get on Xbox PC app. Almost none of your games that you do own or did own at that point in time, right, did support anything like Play Anywhere. It was just the Gamepass games, but nothing outside of that. Basically, had Play Anywhere when they launched that campaign, and the cloud experience wasn't what it is, or was supposed to be, to feel like an Xbox, right? They've improved upon that, but they are still not there yet. With your your games on cloud, which is still not supported by all your library, only a few select titles, right? And this whole thing was just way too soon. Maybe when they launched Project Helix and every console basically runs Windows, and there really isn't a difference anymore in between a console and the PC, because it's all really the same ecosystem, and all your games that you do own on your console are there on PC and vice versa, and all your games that you own play on the cloud. Then they could have launched it, but it'll take them like another 5 years or so to establish that, right? It was just way too soon. And over the last couple of weeks, we learned that this whole "this is an Xbox" thing ad was the idea of Sarah Bond. She's gone now, and as soon as she's out the door, obviously, and Asha took over, they've now put that ad campaign, at least that's what it looks like, down, right? You're typing. I can hear that.
I am. Taking a tick. It's because my microphone's like right above the keyboard.
Yeah. I know. So yeah, that is this. I've seen a lot of people discuss this online. Is this the first step of going back more towards, like, a closer thing? People have been speculating, oh, the next step will be exclusives come back or something like that. Or what are your thoughts on this whole? What does it mean that they do not support it anymore?
I think it's not so much. It's not so much that they don't support it anymore. I think it's just it's admittance of we ruled something out at the wrong time where it really didn't. We really couldn't kind of achieve what we set out to do. You can't say everything is an Xbox when that's factually untrue. Like, factually, it was never going to be achievable in the time frame they thought it was going to be achievable. You can't play all your games on your mobile. You can't access all of your games full stop, even on PC. You can't access all of your library on anything. It's only a select amount of games. So therefore, not everything is an Xbox, even if it wanted to be. And yes, everything can play some Xbox games. It's not everything you have or can get on your Xbox. It's not a full blanket statement. It's like everything is your Xbox, but it isn't. It's everything is only if it's on Game Pass and only if it's available to stream and only if it's on Play Anywhere. Is that an Xbox?
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't go as far as some of the comments I've seen about this, that this is a sign that exclusives will come back as well. I'm not saying it's off the table, but I think it is the start of a more Xbox branded campaign again. That only the devices that do carry the Xbox logo is the center of the messaging, right? That will be the console, that will be a handheld, like the ROG Xbox LEX is branded as, like an Xbox device. And I think that the way how they will communicate, hey, we do sell a product and we want you to buy it, which has been neglected over the last 2 or 3, maybe even 4 years, right? And was heavily diluted with this is an Xbox campaign. When the marketing literally tells you, don't buy our product, it's not a good not a good marketing campaign. And I think that is the big key takeaway here, that they will go back to actually wanting to sell you a product that they built, and or that they at least co-partner. I still think that the ROG Xbox LEX will be their symbol. You've seen that as well at GDC when they said that they had these like big PowerPoint slides on the wall where it said, the next Xbox, Project Helix, and the handheld, the console and the handheld, and there was a picture of the ROG Xbox LEX, but that carries an Xbox logo that is co-designed or developed with Asus together, and they put the brand name on it. And with such a device, it is easier to sell. Okay, this is really an Xbox, even though it's not. It's still a PC, but you know what I mean. And I think that's that. I don't think this has directly to do with any hopes of people to get exclusives back. I'm not saying it isn't on the table to do exclusives again. Not in the sense that it's a console-only game. They will never, ever go back to that. I mean, they have been on PC day and date for almost 10 years now. And nobody cared about that, because I still believe that the player base in between PC and console are two different customer types. Yeah, I think the big issue arose when PlayStation and Switch got the exclusives. And is that off the table to go back? Not immediately. I think that the games that they've definitely announced this year there's no way they're going to pull back on a Fable coming to PlayStation or Forza Horizon. But maybe that they will say, okay, come on, we'll release our games on PlayStation wasn't worth it. Maybe Asher sees it like that. But that would be a thing that they would start like with Project Helix next year then. For now, I don't think they are going back to having exclusives like that.
No.
But interesting times for Xbox, because only a day later, a day before GDC, Asher tweeted something that set the community on fire, right? She tweeted the following, Dutch, on March 5th, almost a week ago. great start to the morning with Team Xbox, where we talked about our commitment to return of Xbox, including Project Helix, the codename for our next generation console. Project Helix will lead in performance and play your Xbox and PC games. Looking forward to chatting about this more with partners and studios at my first GDC next week. So with that, they also tweeted out the logo of the whole thing, the little twisted helix. And this was now the first confirmation of the code name, right? Including a respective logo. People were excited. People argued whether it's a console or not. She literally said it in the tweet. But guys like our good friend Jeff Keighley, right, didn't really acknowledge it. And it's a PC-based device. People argued about that. Obviously, it's going to be a next-gen console. I think this was the first time someone officially from Xbox confirmed the whole thing, that it will play Xbox and PC games. Because up until this point, there has been a lot of speculations and rumors and stuff, but nothing really official from someone at Xbox that it will actually play PC games, the next gen console. So that was really exciting. But now, yesterday, we had the big GDC talk from Jason Ronald at GDC. And he actually really, gave out quite some interesting things about the next Xbox console, the Project Helix, and there's tons of stuff to go through, right? Again, reconfirming that it is aiming to deliver really high performance, orders of magnitude, right, is what they said. He said the following: Project Helix is designed to play your Xbox consoles and PC games, delivering high performance and providing the ultimate player-first experience. Project Helix is powered by a custom AMD-based SoC, and it's co-designed for the next generation of DirectX. With that, also confirming what we've speculated a couple of months ago on this very podcast. Usually when Xbox starts a new gen, we get a new version of DirectX. So he said next generation DirectX. Obviously, it's going to be called DirectX 13 then. Afterwards, we learned they are aiming for orders of magnitude, whatever that means, right? In higher performance than what we have today in the Series X. The custom-based AMD SoC apparently was, at least to video game cards, they were referring to an internal source based on RDNA 5 an RDNA 5 architecture, heavily customized though. So before we get in all the other stuff that he announced, what are your expectations on this, man?
One of the first things that, I don't know whether or not you covered that there, but one of the first things I mentioned that the first alpha versions of these are going to develop.
I was going to go to that as a little separate topic because
that is something that we need to explore. In terms of, like you mentioned, the DirectX, we have already debated that before. We have mentioned it's usually in line with a new releases. They'll bring out the next version of DirectX. I don't believe they really fully got the best out of the previous DirectX.
I'm not sure. See, See, my thing is, maybe we are just burned a little about because of the first 2 years of the console, where we had all these discussions about, oh, the tools are not ready, Well, DirectX actually was ready, and it just was a little, I don't want to sound too negative, but in between the SDK and the GDK that they've developed, the API provided APIs for especially the console versions of games for DirectX 12 were simply
not
user-friendly. Yeah, let's put it that way. Yeah,
exactly. It's the easiest way to put it. Not user-friendly for them to develop. It was a pain on the backside.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what they need to do, and again, for them, switching over to a PC-like model for this particular console, they really do need to get it right. It's going to be not just the DirectX thing, but it just in general. They need to get it right from a developer standpoint, because if essentially they're scrapping console development, and going forward it's going to be essentially PC development.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they officially confirmed now, right? It's going to be Windows-based.
Yeah.
Developers
it is going to need a relatively big pivot from the developers in-house.
Yeah.
For that. Especially ones that are focused I wouldn't say strictly on making console games, but there's a large portion of the developers within each studio that are just making the console port. And then there's another section of that particular development studio that is focusing on the PC port of that game.
Yeah.
And now, of course, they're scrapping that, so then all developers will be working on essentially the PC port, which will be used for the console. It is going to require a relative pivot for them, and again, I just hope that it's a relatively straightforward pivot for them, and that the tools, to use that word again, are user-friendly for them enough so that it doesn't cause issues or delays or problems in development.
I mean, that's what the whole talk was centered around, actually. I mean, I'm getting off topic now a little, but I find it very funny, and I was sitting there yesterday scrolling through all the people tweeting about the talk and the other and the GDC in general, and I was like, when did GDC become a consumer event? Like, GDC, it's the Game Developers Conference, right? It's for the developers to go there to exchange new ideas of, I don't know, rendering pipelines or tessellation ideas and mathematical models behind vectorized rasterization and stuff like that. That's what GDC is actually for. It's like, and suddenly I see at GDC all those content creators and influencers and media people, and I was like, when did GDC become such a consumer event? I mean, I love GDC, always have loved it. But usually you had to go to the very hardcore nerdy sites, right, to find out what was actually the talks, or to go directly and download the talk and just watch it yourself and understand like 1% of the stuff that they were talking about. And now suddenly we are sitting there, and Paris Lily is there, and all these everyone, all these influencers, Tom Warren is there, Gas is even there, right? It's like, I was like, wait, man, when did GDC become that? And
to be fair, it's like I was thinking it's kind of the same as what the mobile sector kind of morphed into, because originally when mobile phones and things were coming out, that was more like announce these things at the likes of GDC and kind of all of these tech shows where it was like talking about the next step in technology and this is how our phones are going to look. And Apple was one of those who did these conferences like to talk about the next steps in technology, and it wasn't so much focused on consumer. But now all these mobile phone conferences are centered just on consumers and like showing them what the next features are, and not the technology behind it, but the features behind it.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's kind of what GDC is now. It's talking about the feature sets, and then in the background, off stage, in their own private meetings, are they having the technological talks? Yes, you can watch some of these technological talks kind of on separate streams and separate days, but then these big ones centered around specific items are very consumer focused, whether it be TVs. Look at this brand new foldable TV, and this is what it does, and that's consumer focused.
Yeah.
And again, with gaming things or anything to do with gaming, Unreal Engine, they use it like Unreal did last time around. They're like, look at our brand new engine. We're excited to announce partnerships with The Witcher and their brand new game, and have a look at the trailer for The Witcher. And it's like, what? Like, it's turned, let's show them what our technology can do, into a semi-announcement stage.
Yes, and I mean, we're not there yet, but I was thinking about, okay, what happened to E3? E3 was also not a consumer event for the most part of its existence. The idea of E3 was that it is a kind of a merch trade show. Like, if you're a video game store owner, you went to E3 to see what you need to put in your storefront in the holiday season. That was the idea of E3, and then it opened up to press. Then it opened up to obviously content creators, and finally it opened up to the public, and then it became this huge, gigantic consumer show, which then just couldn't exist anymore because they weren't making any money off of it anymore, and that's the thing, right? I don't want to doom. How do you call that? Doom and gloom about it. But I was honestly surprised. If this continues for a couple of years, you don't know what GDC is going to turn into in a few years, right? And it was always this, like, okay, here, this is a conference from developers for developers, and nobody else. And only if you were like heavily tech interested, people you were actually looking into that stuff. Anyway, I mean, as a content creator, I'm glad because it gives us stuff to talk about, right? But I wonder what's going to happen with GDC for the developers, which is supposed to be the target group.
Yeah, I was going to say they usually have their own separate, I wouldn't say conferences, but they have their talks. They're like TED Talks for the industry as well, on separate days and separate things like that.
Yeah.
They've still got lots for themselves, but I think some of the major announcements, they kind of focus that more on, everybody can see kind of the major things, and then we'll go into the nitty-gritties in the background in more kind of refined talks.
Yeah.
And you'll not see many of these, like I say, influencers going to these talks because they'll not understand a word they're talking about.
Yeah.
But you will see still the tech sites coming out and talking about what's being said, and the likes of Tom Warren, etc.
Which
looking into some of the things that are coming out of it. And
yeah. All right, let's get back to what Jason Ronald had to say about the hardware. Right. So it's powered by a custom AMD SoC, obviously, which was co-designed by Team Xbox specifically for the next generation of DirectX. Right. It will have whatever that means, next gen ray tracing performance and capabilities. And a GPU directed work with graphics executions. It will have an NPU, obviously. Along with that, AMD announced their next version of FSR called FSR Diamond, which was specifically built for that neural rendering chip. It will not run on any other GPUs that do not have the AMD NPU. It will provide the next generation of their machine learning upscaling technology, a new NPU supported machine learning multi-frame generation, and a next gen ray regeneration for ray tracing and path tracing. So Along with that, it will have a deep texture compression with neural rendered texture compression. So that's basically it. What we got in terms of infos about the hardware.
Do we know whether or not the new FSR is going to be hardware based or still
hardware?
software based?
Yeah. That's
good.
That's why I said only works with the dedicated NPU. It's not.
Well, that makes a good shift.
Yeah, I mean that's FSR2, right? Was heavily based on the FP16 capabilities. That's why it ran basically on everything without having a dedicated NPU. And when you look at NVIDIA, that do have their dedicated tensor cores to do the neural processing, right? That's why, DLSS works so much better. So this is promising, honestly. It's exactly what we want in the next gen hardware, right? To have a state-of-the-art NPU in there supporting all these neural upscaling technologies from machine learning, upscaling, frame generation, and ray regeneration for ray tracing. It's got it.
The gameplay is finished, by the way.
Oh, thank you. See, yeah. My Xbox, I recorded this Resident Evil footage directly from my Xbox, and it always stopped. Like I only have like always 20 or 30-minute clips, so I have to switch the clips all the time, and sometimes I forget that when talking here on the podcast. Then. Obviously, they talked about this is going to have magnitude of order higher performance than what we have today. Honestly, everything looks really promising. It was a very vague presentation. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
It's not like, okay, this is the architecture we are using. We have this and that many cores. They run at this clock speed. We have this much RAM.
We'll not get that kind of information until full reveal.
Yeah. It was more like a general teaser for, okay, listen, we are going to have an NPU in there. You guys can use it. You can have. We have a dedicated new version from AMD's FSR called FSR Diamond coming for it, which is fantastic, right? We have a customized SoC in there. We use deep texture compression, also with the NPU as a neural texture compression. All good stuff, but we really don't know much about what it's going to aim for. It will be a powerful console, though. You can clearly tell that they are aiming this time not for this middle market segment, more towards the higher end market segment. And I love that.
Depending on when it releases, it'll probably end up still mid market.
Yeah, well, that really depends on how you define mid. See,
Well, now they're going into the PC space.
Yes, they are.
Mid-market.
Yeah, that depends. What is where do you position a 50-70? Where would you position a 50-70? Is a
50-70 is mid-market.
Mid-market. Yeah, what's a 50-80 then?
50-80 is kind of upper mid. And then you've got the 50-90, which is the big boy.
I see. I see that a little different, honestly. The 50-90 is ultra high end.
The 50-60 is like absolute. Well, 50-60, 20-60, 30-60, 40-60. They're all like low.
Even a 50. Listen, even a 50-60, 50-60 is for me the mid market because. Definitely, because if you're talking low end, we are talking the Intel NVIDIA graphic cards. We are talking about the cheap AMD parts, yeah. The RT.
But if you're talking about strictly on performance aspect,
Yeah,
Strictly on the performance aspect, which is what I'm more talking about.
It's a mid.
It's not mid-end. No,
It's mid.
5060 is not
And
mid.
when you reach 5070, 50. Listen, Crimson Desert is going to run on a 5070 at ultra settings and 4K 60.
That's just a well-optimized game.
I know, that's why I chose that example. But a 5070 already costs you, like, I want to say, without fact checking now, the latest prices, I mean, the GPU prices have gone up insanely. So I'm just saying, for the sake of argument, almost $1,000 already. Just the GPU, the 5070. That's not low end. That is already well in the mid.
5070 is definitely mid. Yeah,
mid 100%. To high. That's a mid to high. And the 5080 then is a high end PC component, and the 5090, well, that's out of the space, right?
5090 and 5090 Ti are premium.
This is so that's why I'm always a little bit careful with, because everyone defines low and mid and high in a different way.
Differently, exactly. In terms of performance aspect, I would put it in probably the region of, again, performance aspect. By the time this comes out, we'll be talking about 70 series cards, maybe even 80 series cards, depending on when it comes out.
Yeah.
And then by the time it releases, I would probably put this in the mid-range PC market.
We'll have that debate again when it
we will, close at the time.
When we know more about it. But I'm sticking with it. They are aiming more towards the high range PC parts here than towards the low to mid tier, which the Series X and PS5 still were, right? They were low to mid tier PC equivalents. Yeah. And with this one, they're definitely aiming for a higher part. So we don't really know much, except, NPU is going to play a big role there, which is fantastic. The interesting part to me actually was the GDK. They're going to remove this whole friction in between SDK, GDK, dedicated GDKs for the console versions, 2 GDKs for Series and Series S and X, and all that friction that was generated there. There's just gonna be one GDK. It's the PC GDK. Build your game once, and then just the console will do the rest. The GDK will do the rest. You don't have to do dedicated console ports anymore, because it is Windows based. It is confirmed now. It is the PC version. You build one PC version, and whether then you ship it on Steam or through the Xbox store really doesn't matter. It will just play on that device, and I think that is the fantastic message towards the developers, right? Don't worry about different kind of specs console, because I was never a fan of this whole idea the Series S is holding stuff back, but I was always on the point of it's not holding back, but it generates extra work. Yeah. When you want to release an Xbox game on Xbox console, you have to optimize for 2 versions, not 1. And that extra work combined with a lower install base than the PS5 obviously makes it less attractive. And we've seen a couple of games skip Xbox, right? For I don't know that reason, but for a reason. And just building the PC version, which you're gonna build anyway, because every game is built on PC and it comes out on PC, except maybe some PlayStation games in the future, but maybe we'll talk about that later. And it just works there. I think that was the key message to developers here. Hey, we're gonna have a powerful device, and you will never ever have to worry about dedicated console versions anymore. Just build your game once, and it is scalable across all these devices then, because it simply will run your PC version of your game. And I think that is the key message for developers here, and it will lead to the fact that no game will ever skip Xbox again, right?
Yeah, we'll see, but yeah, for the majority, that shouldn't be the case. It depends. I think the only reason that they would in the future is just simply market share. Is it worth it? It depends on how well this new console does.
I mean, with that console, Xbox definitely has the advantage that they do not need to sell as many Xbox consoles anymore than they did have with a dedicated OS that they had in all the previous Xbox consoles, right? But I mean, that's the thing. I see it here in the chat, right? Infinite, for instance, says, I'm moving to PC and I'm kind of excited for game mode because I have so much Xbox games that I don't own on PC. Yeah, that's the thing, right? People might move to PC. I think the big advantage, which is also, by the way, something they confirmed again, your PC will not necessarily play all your console games. Yeah. This particular PC or console, respectively, will though, right? It will play all the games that are currently also playable on the Series consoles, including the backwards compatible titles from the OG Xbox, the Xbox 360 and Xbox One generation. So it will play all these games as well. And I think that is one offer that your regular PC probably won't do. Simply, I'm not 100% buying into this whole, there's dedicated silicon on that chip that we really require to be able to run your OG Xbox game. I'm not buying into that particularly. I don't think it's a lie entirely. They will have a dedicated architecture design to support older architectures, especially from the OG Xbox days, because it took Xbox a while to get to x86, right? To an x86 architecture. It took Sony even longer, but that's not the point. The point is, if you have a decent PC, I highly doubt that it wouldn't be if you enable cross on this. Let me rephrase that. My train of thought isn't really good at the moment. If Xbox Project Helix is basically a Windows-based device, why wouldn't a good PC be able to run with the same OS your Xbox 360 titles? The main reason will be license issues. Yeah, a PC is not sold.
I think it's more work to. It's not so much that it won't run. I think it's just more work to put it onto the marketplace, and not so much the licensing, but certain tweaks to the architecture or whatever it is that they've got in software on the hardware itself.
Again, if Helix is running Windows, why wouldn't you be able to install the same version of Windows on your PC
I personally think they're just trying to use it as a reason for people to have the console.
Absolutely. I'm not even sure if that's I give you that. I think they will heavily advertise the console with that as one of the reasons. Why shouldn't I just get a PC and get this console? Yeah, because it will play all your console games. But the main reason why a PC doesn't do it is the licensing issues. Those licensing issues are so complicated, and I doubt that they will be able to transfer all the licenses to PC. This will be the main reason why your PC is not going to play your console games. But that will be a unique selling point. The other unique selling point is, hey, yeah, PC gaming is great, but PC gaming isn't for everyone. If you want a really console-like experience, yeah, you have a dedicated device under the TV.
Let's wait and see what the UI looks and feels like first.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a second. Hang on. But the thing is, it will be a unique selling point to just have a box under your TV that you can just pick up the controller and play your games, and all the games that you have collected over the last 25 years. That will be a unique selling point to some people. The big question, since we were on tech specs, will be around the price point. And I wonder that because they have not mentioned anything. What they have said is, the next gen Xbox looks like this. Project Helix, they said handheld and a picture of the Rock Xbox LEX. And that's next gen Xbox. I wonder if Project Helix will be again a 2 SKU approach.
I think if they did that, that would completely devoid the point of having a PC-like console. Like, that's just two versions of a PC-like console. I just don't see it. It's just, again, it's unnecessary internal work, not developer work, but internal work to have 2 SKUs, to focus on 2 different things internally.
Why?
For development, for production,
okay. Yeah.
It's like it's unnecessary additional work.
It wouldn't be for developers. It wouldn't be the same storyline.
It would be for Microsoft.
It would be for Microsoft, because they have to build 2 different consoles. They would have to ship 2 different consoles. Stores would have to have,
and
that's
then,
extra work.
Not only that, but then the advertisement around both consoles would be like, just cost difference, because ultimately they're playing the same games. Slightly better looking on this one than it is on this one, but they both run great because they're both PCs, and you can tweak because it's a PC game, you can tweak the options and get it to run the way you want it to run.
Honestly, I know what you mean. I wouldn't rule it out though, because listen, if
I want to rule it out because I want them to just focus on a singular thing and make that great, as opposed to 2 things and make them average.
I'm not on board with that, because that was the storyline with the Xbox Series S and X, basically. The lower thing is holding it back. Just focus on the one thing.
I'm not saying holding it back. I'm saying they should just focus on a singular SKU. Get it right.
Yeah, but
instead of focusing on multiple SKUs.
It will not change anything for a developer, because it's a PC version. And we just talked about it. Crimson Desert still runs on a 1060, man, which is
my issue isn't on the development side of things. It's the fact that Xbox cannot market things correctly. Having 2 SKUs will be. Again, we're going back to the same issue.
It doesn't matter if they have 1 SKU or 2 SKUs; they will not be able to nail the marketing. But the idea of having a premium console, like a console, the Project Helix, super powerful, everything they've said is all looking towards, we are looking way past the price point of $1,000. And just for the sake of argument, let's assume it will launch at 1,200. Just for the sake of argument. Maybe it's just 1,000, but somewhere in that ballpark, 1,000 to 1,200. Somewhere in that ballpark, you launch a console that is targeting the higher end, not highest end, but the higher end part of the PC gaming market. This will definitely be an issue for a lot of the more casual consumers. And if you are serious about, hey, we want to have something, it would make even more sense than it did with the serious consoles to have a second SKU at the lower part of the price point, because I still believe that the biggest problem of the Series S and Series X idea is that they are so close together. They launched at $500 and $300 for a device that you buy and you know you're going to own that for the next 7-8 years. This is not really a big delta, right? The $200, I know I don't want to sound like $200 are nothing, but if you think about the lifespan of a console, right? The €200 price point delta really isn't that much. But if you have a $1,200 console and you offer a $400 low entry version, there would be a huge gap in between it. And it would make, okay, am I a passionate gamer that uses this device every day? Then, hey, cool, I'm going for the €1,200 version. And I personally would buy it in a heartbeat, because I use my Xbox then for 7-8 years on a daily basis. And for me, that's $1,200 well invested. But the more
have you ever played on a £700 PC before?
Not that I could think
Not
of.
a good experience. Not a good experience. So offering a low-end version of a PC to the market is not going to be a great experience for anybody involved.
Yeah, but people, I know what you mean, but people will not receive this device as a PC. They will receive it as a console, no matter what Jeff Keighley says. And for a console, you boot it up. Let's assume they are going to nail the UI. Yeah, of course, we can have a separate discussion on that. But let's assume people will not notice that it is actually Windows and it is a PC. They will just boot this thing up and games play. And then you have two versions.
From a performance aspect I'm talking about here, specifically on a performance aspect.
But listen, the Series S still is a great console that costs now, again, €300. It was at some point it was down to $250. And it still plays great.
The console territory into PC territory.
Yeah.
So if you're basing it on PC architecture and the way PCs work as opposed to the way consoles work, it's an entirely different ballgame.
This is the exact twist here. As a ROG Xbox LEX owner, I can tell you, once the games are running, you are not noticing that it isn't running on a console.
On a small screen, though, not on a 4K screen.
On the 4K screen, you not notice. Of course, you cannot compare it to a high-end PC, but you never could. Even the Series X, you cannot compare that to a super high-end PC. There's a night and day difference in between the two. Again, for the price point, I'm just saying it would make much more sense for them to really have a premium device, go above 1,000, and make this an awesome device for the hardcore gamers, because the hardcore gamers are going to invest into that. They love their performance and they play a lot of games. They use the device on a daily basis. Offer them a €1,200 console, awesome, with great performance, high performance compared to the PC market, and you offer a low to mid-tier performance for, let's say, $500 for the casual consumers. And on both, the games run great, but on the one part machine, it runs just awesome, right? And I think it would make more sense if you are really targeting a high-end price to have a second SKU than it did this gen, where the delta was really not that big in price and performance. Well, in performance, actually, there is a big gap.
Big
But
difference.
yeah. But you know what I
Big
mean.
difference. Yeah.
So I think, but they have not really mentioned anything. And since they have advertised the next gen Xbox is also a handheld, they literally had this slide where it said, well, Project Helix is next gen and the handheld with an image of the Rock Alley. I don't think that they are going to do a dedicated handheld. I'm not hoping it. I hope they will do it. But because I would love to have my full Xbox experience with all of my library on a handheld, which the Rock Alley X just doesn't
they might
provide.
just be working with ROG to make the next version of the Rock Alley X, which will allow that.
Could very well be. Right?
Yeah. And this is why I say again, on the flip side, it would also, you could have the ROG Ally, which you can dock as your lower end, and you can have the console itself as the higher end. Instead of having two lower end consoles, just have this is a handheld and console, and that's kind of the lower entry end into it. And this is the console
thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is the big boy console only version.
Yeah.
That is the best way for them to do it. And yes, I would also love them to do their own Xbox handheld.
But then you wouldn't have the price delta anymore. You know, I just feel like if I love the idea to have a really performant premium console, because that's exactly for me. I love PC gaming, but I prefer console gaming. And I would even throw in that thing a 5080 and charge me $2,000 for it. I would go for it because, again, it is a device I'm using on a daily basis. But this is not how you could design a mass market consumer product.
I don't think they're going to go mass market. I think they're going to go niche.
Yeah. With that price point, definitely. Yeah.
But even anywhere near that price point, if they're going like in the 1,000 territory, and even if you say they bring out a second one and that's in the 800 territory, that's still a significant portion of the market that's going to go, nah.
Yeah.
We've seen this again. We've seen this over and over again with the Pro models that have released at significantly higher price points.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't sell anywhere near the same.
No, they do not. That's why I'm saying, if they are serious about staying in the mass market.
Yeah, and I don't think they are.
Yeah, let's see. I think they will. And maybe the lower SKU isn't really from Xbox. Maybe that's a third party.
That's what I'm saying.
Console.
That's why I'm saying the ROG Ally X is the lower SKU.
Yeah, but the ROG Ally X doesn't have the price point to be the lower SKU. That's my issue.
If the upper end is 1,000 or 1,200, as you say, and the Ally X is 800, or the regular Ally X,
or 900, it's 900 now, and then we are talking again. We are in the same situation like the Series X and S, where you have like 100 or 200 buck delta.
Yeah, but then the ROG Ally also has its base model, which is again 500.
Yeah, but that thing really isn't it.
See, now you know. Now you're getting it.
That's the thing.
Point I'm making.
So yeah, let's see. Oh, I ran out of gameplay.
That's the point I'm making about the console being. That's a 500 quid PC with a screen, and as you've just said, that's really not it. That's not it.
Yeah, but it's not it because the battery is too low, right?
Yeah, but even on a performance spec, if you have a look at the reviews from everybody who has a standard one, from a performance standpoint, it's not it either. I don't expect to play anything at quality on that thing.
Not for that price point. No, I still believe for that price point, the performance isn't there yet. On the other hand, it is still, you're getting still a screen, you're still getting the battery, and that's what drives up the price, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk UI. Xbox also announced, or Jason Ronald announced, that Xbox Mode will be coming to Windows 11 starting in April. And that's basically a rebranding of the Xbox full screen experience that they have already now on the ROG Xbox LEX. Along with it, apparently a big update is coming, and so that's Windows or Xbox Mode is what they call it now, and it comes to Windows as of soon as next month, right?
The only way that'll ever truly work is if they have functionality within it that turns off all unnecessary background tasks.
It's what it does. Honestly, that's what it already has. The full screen experience turns down this. This is the good part about the full screen experience as it is right now, available on the ROG Ally and Lenovo and so on. It turns down the background tasks. It doesn't boot into your Windows 11 desktop. It boots into only this full screen experience, which is then called Xbox Mode, which is a way better name than the Xbox full screen experience. But that's the beauty of it. It frees up memory. It doesn't run any unnecessary background tasks, and that works beautiful. That's the good part about what they already built. The bad part about this experience is, and this is what I've been saying on the podcast ever since its inception, is there is no accumulated updates available. You have to go to desktop mode. Then it boots up the actual regular Windows 11 desktop to do certain updates, to do Windows updates, to update the Xbox app itself. Then you have to go to the Armory crate and update that there. Then you have to go to the Windows Store again to update your game, and then you can actually finally play. But if no updates are necessary, the full screen experience itself is actually awesome. It turns down all the unnecessary fluff that is in Windows. It just runs. It feels like console OS. A couple of things like uploading screenshots and things still need also improvement. But the actual experience itself frees up a lot of resources that are then available for games. It is easy to use. You can find your games quickly, easy to access. That's all good. That's the actual good part. About this. I find it interesting that they are rolling it full out to Windows, because that tells you, man, we are really looking for feedback. What do we need to achieve to make this a thing? And I love that idea, because this is what they really need to nail. You cannot have that as your premium console experience like it is right now on the ROG Ally. Don't get me wrong, I love my ROG LEX. But the update part alone requires me to go into Windows, and as annoying as it is, but I cannot navigate with my controller through Windows. I have to use the touch screen. And when you think about a console, you don't have a touch screen anymore and you're dead. You wouldn't be able to update that thing. So this is really the key part. The whole experience has to be from start to finish within Xbox Mode. And that's what it is not right now. For certain tasks, uploading your screenshots that you took, or video clips also. Yeah, you have to go into an actual file browser to do that. That's not good. Updates I already mentioned, yeah, and so on. And this is really the part that they have to nail. But it's nothing that they cannot fix within the next, let's say, 1.5 years, right? And if they nail that, I think it's a great thing. Or can be a great thing. Dutch, we talked about this prior to the podcast, and then we said, okay, we need to talk about this later. heavily announced it plays your Xbox games and your PC games. They not once mentioned any of the other storefronts. Not Steam, not Epic, no, nothing.
The Xbox and Xbox PC games is what they've said.
No, they literally said play your Xbox console and PC games.
Yeah, so Xbox console and PC games.
And I know everyone thinks, and I also thoroughly believe that they will have Steam on it. But really, it isn't a confirmation that it will have that. It could also very well just be play your Xbox PC games, the from the PC app that you bought on the Windows Store, right?
Yep, the likes of Horror, History Untold, you can all play that now. Have fun.
Yeah, exactly. But why do you think they didn't mention, we will support third-party stores? Because it would have been the best thing to do when you announce this whole thing. It plays your Xbox games, it plays your PC games. Hey, and developers, even if you only publish on Steam, it will still be able to play here. Why don't you think that they confirmed that?
The only reason I can think for that at the moment is that they're still ironing out the details with those particular platform holders, those marketplaces. I think they're still ironing out the details. The legalities around it, the rights around it, maybe even the payment terms around it. Did we get a small cut of games that are purchased and played on Xbox? It could be something like that. I think that is the basic thing of it. I think they just haven't got those details ironed out. If it is going to play it. If it isn't going to play it, then it's a big miss.
I think so too. If for some reason this comes out, they really screwed, because I know they have not once has Xbox officially announced, yes, it will play your Steam library. Not once have they announced it. But this has been running through the community and every news website for over a year now.
Yeah.
And
that's why I think it's only just the only reason they haven't announced it is because they're still ironing out the finer details of those companies.
Analog
because
AI says in the chat,
like any deal or transaction, and you're partnering with someone, you can't officially announce the partnership without the legalities and the.
I agree. It could just be also it could just be a marketing thing. Yeah, we want to keep that for the official reveal. And things. Analog AI in the chat says Jason Roll talked about other storefronts, not only Xbox. It's on Xbox Era as YouTube channel, or now called Day One YouTube channel.
Is it? Is that what
apparently, I haven't seen that on the Day One YouTube channel. However, what I did see is that there was one slide that was presented where they said, okay, the challenges for next Xbox that we for the next gen that we are going to solve is, and then they had 4 bullet points, and one of those bullet points was divided libraries. So what they promised is we will solve the problem of divided libraries. This is what they basically.
But that also could encompass, and this is just again devil's advocate. That could also just encompass your PC Xbox library and your Xbox library.
Yeah.
Devil's advocate.
Very, very true.
Because those are divided libraries.
Those are divided libraries, no doubt about it. I still think if it would be the dumbest thing of them to let the community run with and not just the community and every news website and everyone out there with this idea, okay, the next Xbox is going to play Steam, and then not do it without intervening. If they wouldn't intend to release Steam on that or enable Steam on that console, they would have already put out a statement by now. They cannot be that stupid and let everyone run for years with this idea and then bring it out and not have it. So yeah, but it was kind of interesting to see that. Infinite AA in the chat says the only way they are having a Steam is a full Windows mode. There is no way there's Steam games on the Xbox mode. Well, it is kind of on the ROG Xbox LEX. You can directly access from Xbox mode your Steam games. Click on them. It will boot up the Steam launcher and then launch your games. It's one press of a button directly from the Xbox full screen experience. Dutch, when is it coming out? Also a big discussion point. Jason Ronalds said, we are sending alpha versions of Project Helix to developers starting in 2027. And I've seen some of the bigger news sites running with the articles like, okay, that means it's not coming before 28. And I was sitting there and thinking, I
don't think it will come until holiday 28, personally.
No, I'm 100. I take the fact that they are sending out dev kits to developers in 27 is basically a confirmation of it launching in 27. Because if you look at history, just look at history. How has it been in the past? It was always like 6 to 10 months prior to its launch, developers have received a dev kit. Because that's when the SoC is running. That's the thing.
But also, Xbox have not had a good track record of sending out developer things and them not being ready. So by the time they actually try to get their games ready, it's not running correctly, and the tools aren't there, and the games are running poorly.
So first of all, that was one time with the launch of the series. You could argue it was because of the pandemic, which I still think is ridiculous because the tools should have been ready prior to that. Nevertheless, this whole storyline of the tools are not ready was stupid at the time. It still is stupid. Of course, tools are not the same. Tools is something that is a continuous evolvement over time. In every device out there, not just consoles, you bring out a tool, you improve upon it, you improve upon it, you improve upon it. But the point of a dev kit is that developers have a running SoC. And if they can send devices next year to developers, that means that AMD is running SoCs of the finalized production line. And that's the point.
But they're also saying it's alpha versions of the hardware. It's not like it's the fucking...
Of course, it's an alpha version. Of course. Yeah. But
that's what I'm saying. So it's not like it's going to be close to being ready. If it's the initial... We're going to give them initial things so they can kind of start getting ready. But it's not the end product version that we're going to send them.
No, it's not. And it never was. In no console launch, this was the final version of the development kit. But it was the development kit that developers got to support the launch lineup. And they are not sending this 1.5 years in advance. 1.5 years AMD hasn't filed in advance, which would be the case if they would launch it in holiday 28, right? AMD wouldn't be able to run the SoCs of the actual lithography lines. It's just not happening. And by the way, AMD also has confirmed they are ready to ship the SoC next year in 27. So basically, that is the confirmation of, hey, this thing is coming next year. Also, in favor of my argument, if it's a 28 console, they wouldn't be talking about it this year. No way.
Not necessarily. I think it's a high possibility it'll be 28.
I highly doubt that.
They're only talking about it this year because it's Xbox's 30th anniversary.
No. If that would be the case...
Or is it 25th or 30th?
25th. 25th. No.
25th. Who was 30 again? Oh, it was fucking Pokemon the other day.
Bethesda had its...
Yes, and Bethesda 30th. As well, yeah.
Yeah. Activision had its 40th.
That's why they're talking... I personally think that's why they're talking about it this early. It's because it's the 25th anniversary. Yeah. They want to talk about what's next for Xbox.
Infinite AA asks, when will RDNA 5 be coming out? Nothing has officially been confirmed to my knowledge. But AMD's roadmap says end of the year. Somewhen end of this year, early next year. I can't recall from the top of my head. But RDNA 5 is basically ready to go. AMD also officially confirmed they are ready to deliver the SoC for the next Xbox in 27. And so this thing is coming out. Otherwise, they wouldn't be talking about this in such a big way at the Game Developer Conference this year. I doubt it heavily that it comes in 28.
We will see.
We will see, definitely. Dutch, one final thing from Jason Ronald. Backwards compatibility program basically is coming back. They don't call it backwards compatibility program anymore. But he said the following. We are committed to keeping games from our 4th generation of Xbox playable for years to come. As part of our 25th anniversary later this year, we'll be rolling out new ways to play some of the most iconic games from our past. And with that, it's basically the return of the backwards compatibility program. New games, older games, obviously, but new games come to that program. Is exactly what I want to hear for 25th anniversary. Bring us as many games as possible. And I'm playing Batman Arkham Origins still on my ROG Xbox LEX at the moment because, it's not in the backwards compatibility program. There are still plenty of games that they could bring, and I love that they are still committed to that and that they return to this program after taking a break for 3-4 years now. In the spirit of the 25th anniversary. Love to see it. What are your thoughts, dude?
Yeah, it's great to see it coming back. We'll see if that's more. Is it more discussing backwards compatibility for the next gen, or is it discussing backwards compatibility with new titles being added to it now?
Mm-hmm.
So which is it talking about backwards compatibility for the next gen, or is it new titles added now?
Well, since next gen isn't coming out this year, and they are bringing them, that's what he said, as part of our 25th anniversary later this year, we'll be rolling out new ways to play some of the most iconic games from our past.
New ways to play? What's the meaning by new ways to play?
I mean, it would be absolutely crazy if I was completely incorrect earlier and they bring backwards compatibility to PC.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. It's like the new ways to play or backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's kind of vague. in Xbox, in traditional Xbox manner, it's a very vague statement. New ways to play could mean a few things. It could be that they're bringing back, or they're bringing some of these titles to PC.
To PC,
in order to play back old games.
If I was correct about the licensing issues, to at least to the ROG Xbox LEX, because that is branded as an Xbox console-like device, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they found a loophole in all the legal work, and they can at least bring it to those devices. I mean, it could very well be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kogesi Gynos or something. Sorry if I'm butchering your name. In the chat says or asks, would that program come with a physical disk drive to support? I'm not sure. If you're referring to the backwards compatibility program or the next gen console, because there's no way the next gen console is gonna have a disk drive.
Yeah.
I mean, since it's a Windows-based device, you probably will be able to plug in any external drive, right? Why wouldn't you be able? It's at its core a PC and runs Windows, and then just plug in an external disk drive. I also thoroughly believe they would support that you put in your 360 disk in an external drive, and then. But I highly doubt the next gen Xbox is going to have a disk drive, man.
Yeah, I'm also highly doubting that as well.
Yeah.
I think it'll be digital.
Digital only.
Yeah.
Disk drives are way too expensive in this day and age, because I can't think of a consumer product that still has disk drives. No laptops, no PCs, no nothing. Blu-ray players are gone. There is no device out there still using disk drives except the consoles that are 6 years old this year, right?
Yeah.
I think that those were the last, and even PlayStation has went this route, right? They only supported the console itself comes as a digital only thing, and they have this dedicated external solution that you have to charge extra for. And I think such a solution will be available, but there's no way that next gen Xbox is going to have a disk drive.
Nope.
Yeah, Dutch. Anything you would like to add to this conversation?
No. I think we've covered what we need to cover.
Yeah, I think so too. Good stuff there at GDC. I'm excited for this future. I love the new energy in the room. That they actually talk about console, and they talk about they want to put the console again a bit more in the focus. I know it's at its heart a PC, but if the experience feels like a console, I'm all up for it. I love the idea of it being super powerful, even if it means it costs more. I'm a very selfish person there, because, again, it is a device I use so much. And over the course of 7-8 years, I don't mind if the console costs $500 or $1,000. Just see it like that. So I'm honestly excited for the future. I love the idea of having multiple storefronts on it, even though that's not 100% confirmed, but heavily heavily suggested. I love that they keep the backward compatibility thing on there. I'm all up for it, man. How are you feeling about this future Project Helix?
Truthfully, and I don't want to be the more negative one, I'm just trying to be more realistic. I'm going to ignore the talk and the marketing jargon and all of that malark. I'm going to wait because actions speak louder than words. Xbox has done a lot of talking over the years, and it's not got them anywhere. So let's see how the actions are before I go and judge anything.
I mean, that's a smarter move, right? To not dive into the hype and let's see how this thing turns out. Obviously, but so far they are hitting all the right notes. Yeah, and I love this idea. And if they can at least pull off not backward compatibility, but forward compatibility on a ROG Xbox LEX or the successor of that, then I'm really I truly am excited for this future. Of course, execution is key here. And that's what Xbox lacked in the past, right? Great ideas, poor execution. So obviously, they've talked a lot in the past and then under-delivered and over-promised in the past, because that's also one thing, of course, we have to be careful. What was the key selling point for the Series X? The most powerful console.
The best,
most,
blah, 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 blah.
Right? We've heard it before. And technically they were correct, right? The Series X was the most powerful console to date. It is slightly more powerful than the PS5. Technically, that was all correct. But then we've seen too many games. But realistically, right? Especially at the beginning of this gen, we've seen too many games being outperformed on the apparently so much weaker PS5. We've seen too many games released only with 30 FPS or low resolution.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm not happy with what the Xbox Series X can do, but the way they sold it to us, it didn't fully deliver on its hardware capabilities. And so obviously we've heard these phrases before: most powerful and order of magnitude higher and this and that. Of course, execution, deliver on that thing. But if they can deliver on what they've promised, I'm honestly really excited for that kind of future console. Yeah. It's kind of weird, Dutch, that we talk about Xbox doing all these things, right? Console games, play then on your PC-like console. Even Steam is there. They are all about unifying it. At the same time, over the last couple of days, I think it was Friday last week when that news broke. Could be Thursday last week. We didn't have a podcast last week, so Jason Schreier basically confirmed that Sony is most likely going to pull back their PC efforts, and that they will have true console exclusives again, or more often again, and not bringing those to PC anymore. Yeah. It was combined with this news from Shinobi and some market analysts that the PC revenue was only 1.5% of Sony's entire revenue. And it looks like Sony has decided, okay, for an additional 1.5% of revenue, we are hurting too much the console.
I mean, let's be brutally honest here. They weren't exactly porting their games day one, were they?
No.
The games that they ported over to the console were like years old, that had been in the market forever. People had played them.
That's the thing,
it's
right? They never really committed. They never really committed to it.
They never committed.
And additionally to that, to have the full story here, the 1.5% of revenue was basically Helldivers 2. Right?
Yeah.
So I understand the train of thought to say, okay, hey, PC releases didn't do much for us. And at the same time, it gives a reason to not buy our console, which is what we truly want you to do, because then we own the store. Yeah. And even though I've said this many times before, it's ridiculous if people talk about, it's not about selling consoles. No, it's not selling consoles, it's selling the storefront. And that's what brings you revenue and makes you money, right? And with the console, you sell the storefront. And that, I understand that train of thought. I just find it really interesting that Xbox is going the complete other route.
That's the true reason. That's the reason. Because if Xbox do have Steam, that is the reason they cancel. It's got bugger all to do with the fact that it's made 1.5 billion. Nothing to do with that. It's got nothing to do with the share percentage or keeping console exclusives. Because it's an entirely different market altogether. The PC market and the PC players are nothing to do with the console market. So you just cut your nose off to spite your face. You're just saying, I'm just going to get rid of 1.5 billion. These are people that wouldn't have played on the console and wouldn't have bought these games on the console. This is just an additional 1.5 billion. The only reason they're doing it is because they're aware that Xbox are going PC. And if Xbox do have Steam, as has been reported, then the Xbox consoles can play their games.
Yeah.
That's why they're doing it. It's got bugger all to do with market share or how much percentage they've got, because that's still 1.5 billion more than they've got. You're just cutting your nose off to spite your face.
I mean, it is a fair train of thought.
The PC ports do not cost anywhere close to what they require in order to get them on there. A couple of million here, there.
Yeah. Agreed there. I mean, I see two things.
Wages.
You know, I still believe that it doesn't really hurt you too much to have your games day and date on PC, because PC and console, in the grander, biggest scheme of things, right, are two very different markets. The console is the more casual market. Yeah, people that just want to play your yearly Call of Duty or FIFA or football club, pardon me. Right? They just buy a console and be done with it for another decade. To have it more as a more casual gaming device. Of course, our community here that is so heavily invested in gaming and are the hardcore fans, they're more likely to say, okay, come on, am I really needing a PS5 or PS6 then, and couldn't just get a PC? I get that. But on the other hand, they also never really tried. Like what we said earlier, if you release your God of War like 3 years after launch and all the hype is gone and everyone who really wants to play it already played it, there's no surprise there that it doesn't do wonders in terms of your percentage in revenue, right?
Get yourself stuck, son.
Pardon?
No, I was talking to the cat. He got himself stuck in the other room. He was playing too much with the doors and ended up closing the door on himself.
All right.
But yeah, in terms of the revenue aspect of it, it's that's what I don't believe the market share or the percentage of revenue's got anything to do with it. I firmly believe it's everything to do with the fact that Xbox is going the PC route.
and Steam for that matter. With the
Yeah.
with the upcoming Steam console, I mean the Steam machine is exactly targeting the same audience than the PlayStation, right? The people that just want to play a game in the living room and not bother with all the fluff that is Windows PC gaming. Yeah. And now suddenly your God of War can be played on the Steam machine and the Spider-Man and so on. Right? It's not just Xbox, it's also this whole we need a unique selling point thing.
Yeah.
So let's see how it turns out. I can understand that train of thought. I am not sure if their pipeline can support this.
Absolutely not. What pipeline?
Exactly. All right. What comes after Wolverine? There's really nothing on the horizon. Well, there's the Naughty Dog game. What's it? Intergalactic. Whenever that comes out, and that's it. To have that claim, right? You kind of need a bigger pipeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's hurting their revenue has got nothing to do with PC. It's the fact that they're not putting games out on the market quick enough.
Yeah. They bet on the wrong horse. Too many games as a service titles. And not the stuff that they actually want. Or gamers actually want. Yeah, it's just interesting to see, right? They are going the more Nintendo-like route, where with Nintendo, nobody asks, hey, bring Mario and Zelda to PC. Right?
No.
And honestly, I don't mind it. It makes the whole industry a little bit more interesting than if everybody is doing the same thing. So, yeah. Let's see. Let's see how. Just fear for all. Didn't they just buy Nexus and so on to support PC ports? What's going to happen with that studio or those studios?
Exactly.
We don't know. All right, Dutch. Let us get to the community questions. Every Wednesday, you guys can write in. We put up posts here on YouTube, of course, on Twitter, Blue Sky. Well, I'm not that active on Blue Sky anymore as of late. It's a kind of a dead platform. Anyway, we are not locking community questions behind a paywall, so everyone can write in. And the first one comes from Sith Lord this week, who, actually shared a picture of the original Xbox prototype, the one that is X-shaped, because they displayed that at GDC and asked, is this an Xbox or an X in a box? I think that is a question everyone can answer for themselves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then the Big Bridge writes in, man. Have a happy and excellent podcast. My question here is, you have found yourself in the shoes of a big budget movie director who is set to make a movie about a video game that isn't very well known, but you feel confident that it would look good behind the reels. Which little known game would you make a grand movie out of?
Heart of Darkness.
Oh, that's a good one.
Animated picture.
That
would go down well with the kids.
That would go down well with the kids. When I was reading this question, I was thinking of some of the great indie games that I have played, but most of them, the instant classics, pop to Hades and Hollow Knight and all those good games. they wouldn't make a great movie. The one I can think of is Firewatch. Firewatch was absolutely fantastic and would make a great movie.
They kind of have a similar-ish film like Firewatch. Similar-ish. I've forgotten who was starring it. I'm sure it was Angelina Jolie.
Oh, really?
It was about Firewatch towers, and something goes wrong, and there's like someone's involved in some form of criminal activities, trying to hunt someone down, and then a big forest fire goes off, and it's all centered around.
Okay. Interesting.
Fire towers. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. What other games would make a great movie that we can think of?
Little known games,
right? Maybe someone in the community has a good suggestion. I mean, I have one game in my head that was a indie game on the Xbox One, early days of Xbox One. Was a 2D, I can't think of the name from the top of my head. It was a 2D side-scroller kind of zombie game that was fantastic, where you played a father that was trying to see whether his son survived the zombie apocalypse. That was fantastic. A great game, great story line. Not your typical zombies storyline, but I'm blanking on the name, man. It's been too long. But anyway, I'm going with Firewatch.
Yeah, I'm going with Heart of Darkness.
Yeah, Heart of Darkness is also a good one. All right, Dutch. Let's wrap this week's podcast up. I want to say a big thank you to our awesome community who joined us here live today to discuss all the GDC stuff and the other topics. It's always a blast to have you guys in the chat. Also, a big thank you to everyone who listens after the fact, of course, either here on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening. Big thank you. Dutch, any words out on any last words before we let everyone out from your side?
Nope. I'm looking forward to lying on the weekend. I'm tired.
Yeah, me too. I wish Crimson Desert was already out, but this weekend, the Rock LAX and my bed screams. Play me in bed. Yeah, man. All right, guys, we're gonna be back here next week, hopefully next Thursday, regular time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central Europe, or 7 p.m. UK time. Then the weekend is near. Go have some fun. If you haven't, play Resident Evil Requiem. It's fan-freaking-tastic. Other than that, have a great weekend. We see you guys next week, and don't forget to game on.